make us go live. Here we go. Going live. All right, awesome. I think we're live. Welcome. Hi, everyone. Also keep in mind that we are on a delay. So this little chat is going to be fun. So we are the Shake Squad. Welcome. Tonight we are performing Richard III. However, we're waiting for one of our cast members. So in the meantime, we're going to introduce everybody and their characters, and then we are going to do a little chat with the audience. So if you have questions for us, for the Shake Squad, about our group, about what we're doing, about Richard III, please throw those in the chat. And we will get to those once we get through introductions. So we're gonna start off. I want to start, but the first person on my list is currently not in his window. So we'll start with the second person on the list and circle back. Go for it.
Hey, my name is Alex Mitchell. I'm going to be playing Clarence and also Second Messenger.
Hi, my name is Sam. I will be playing Hastings and the Third Messenger.
Hi, my name is Kaytlyn Meyer, and I'm going to be playing Brakenbury.
Hi, my name is Greer. I will be playing Lady Anne and Prince Edward.
Hi, I'm Dustin. I'm going to be playing Gentleman, Page, Messenger, and a Follower.
Hey, I'm Presley Poe. I'll be playing Rivers and Tyrrel.
Hi, I'm Ella Henry. I'm going to be playing Grae and Lord Meyer.
Hi everyone, my name is Taylor Davis and I will be playing Queen Elizabeth and Follower 2.
Hey everyone, my name is Ruthie. I will be playing Dorset and Follower 3.
Evening, my name is Ian and I will be playing Buckingham.
Remy, you're next.
Oh, pardon me. Evening, my name is Remy and I'll be playing Stanley, Duke of Derby.
Hi, I'm Andrew Harris. I'm going to be playing Margaret and the Bishop of Ely.
Hi, I'm Allie Peacock. I am playing the First Murderer and Catesby.
Parker, I can't hear you. No. Nope, try leaving the call and coming back. You were working earlier, not sure what's going on. Worth Mountjoy is not here yet. He's the one we're waiting on, but he'll be playing Edward, York, and Richmond.
Oh, that's me. Hi, I'm Story Musa, and I am playing the Duchess of York and the Ghost of the Young Princes.
Josh, you weren't here when we started, so it's your turn now.
Everybody, sorry. I'm Josh. I'm playing Richard. Should have been her earlier. Sorry.
And let's see. Hopefully, the sound works now. Give it a shot, Parker. Oh no!
Check your audio settings. See what mic it says you're on.
Yeah, check your audio settings. Make sure you're on the correct mic.
Or maybe if you have earbuds that you can plug in, maybe that'll work.
You might also be able to connect to your phone audio if you need to. So, it's good we got a vamp then, because we gotta get Parker's microphone situated. So we are going to now take some questions. There are currently no questions in the chat. If you have a question for us, if you want to know anything about Richard or about our group, go ahead and throw that in the chat and we will answer it. In the meantime, does anyone want to talk about why they joined this Shakespeare group and what they've enjoyed about it? Actually, why don't we do this? Why don't we start with Grae? Because Grae is the one who started this group. Grae, why don't you talk to us a little bit about why you started this group and sort of what you have enjoyed about it?
Yeah, so we started this back in April. The way that this kind of happened was I had coordinated a Shakespeare in the Garden festival here in Owensboro, Kentucky, and COVID happened, so it got canceled. So myself and my mother, Carolyn Greer, said, okay, let's do a Zoom reading. Let's just, we've been working on this. We have the cast. Let's get that out there. Let's just do it. And we coordinated a reading and we thought, okay, let's keep doing this. So we did Midsummer and Romeo and Juliet were the two shows that we were supposed to start the season off with. And then it continued. So we did a Thursday reading and then an adult Saturday reading. It was a drunk Shakespeare. I'll just be real with you. And then it continued. And we are now at the end of September and we're still doing this thing. So it's been really kind of cool for me to see different performers, regardless of their experience level, kind of grow and change a little bit throughout this process. Everyone that you see online is from different places in the US, which I think is really kind of beautiful, that it's people from all over the US coming together to read a story and work on it each week. The show that you see tonight has been a different format than what we started with. We've been rehearsing this over 3 weeks to present for you tonight. Whereas before, our normal format was, let's all get together and just read a play. Let's see how it goes. And so it's been kind of neat to see us kind of raise the stakes a little bit and try something different. Last month, hopefully you all have seen this, but we did 12th Night. And it was successful. So we said, let's continue this thing. And we moved on to Richard III. So I hope you all really enjoy this. We've enjoyed it. It's been a really kind of cool process. Tonight, you'll see new people who haven't been with us since April. Some people have come in May. Some people come in June. Some people came in last week. So it's really kind of neat to see that different experience and level and knowledge of everyone. It's been a really beautiful process for me. And I hope that you guys can see that from the audience. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Grae. We have a question from our viewers. Carolyn Greer asks, what is the greatest challenge for this group? Who wants to field that question?
So I'm just going to go out there and say, I have never done anything to do with Shakespeare before. I've always wanted to. And so Grae was like, Ella, I know you like Shakespeare, so come and join. So I did. And I am kind of trying to piece everything together because Shakespeare is Shakespeare. And it takes time to really comprehend. So I figured my first Shakespeare show or experience I ever did, I would really go into deep, context with it. And then with this, it's just very on a whim. It's not what my first Shakespeare experience would be like. So I guess what's really difficult for me is like, what the heck is going on? So I kind of have to take a second, comprehend what is going on. So it's definitely different, but it's been interesting.
And hi, me is Remy here. I've been kind of coming in a little bit late, just starting to get to meet this group, which has become sort of my challenge here. I've gotten to know everyone a little bit here, but it's been really nice. Everyone's been working really well together. So, all of it is a plus here.
This is going to be really cheesy, but I am an emotional being, so get used to it. I think the most challenging thing for me is that this group is full of people that I have known for 15 years, as well as people that I've never actually gotten to meet in person and honestly may never get to meet in person. And so it's really rewarding, but at the same time, it's kind of sad to know that I would give anything to be on stage with these people. And to know that that's not necessarily reality in the very near future is hard to deal with, but I'm grateful that we get to do this in any capacity right now. Sorry, cheesy, emotional,
No, that's totally fine. Sorry, who was? I think for me, when I joined the group, I joined just sort of like as someone who was going to be reading and having fun. And then when we transitioned into this new format, I sort of stepped into a leadership role. And in my normal life, I'm a high school teacher and a high school theater director. And so I'm used to working with children. So working with adults has been a really interesting challenge. And not challenge, it's been super great. Like, it's not been difficult, but I think my challenge for myself has been like finding that line between like giving notes and doing director things without being overly teachery, if that makes sense. So that's been a new role for me. So that's been, I think, one of my challenges within these last few readings. We have another question. What growth has anyone noticed from working on these readings? That question comes from Emmy Woosley.
I'll go ahead. So before I did this, I had never actually read Shakespeare before. I've been in a couple, but they were just kind of, I hadn't actually read it. And so it's so interesting to me to see how much more it makes sense now. Because when you first read it, it just seems so like a different language. And now you read it and you're like, oh, I kind of understand what that means. And I can kind of get a feel for what that is. And so I think I've grown quite a bit in that, and I feel a lot more comfortable with the language as well. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Can you hear me now? Yeah, you can hear me?
Yes, you're a little quiet, but we can hear you. So we'll be good. Turn your volumes up.
Great. What was the question again?
What growth have you noticed working on these readings, whether it's growth in yourself or growth in other people?
Oh, I've seen growth in everyone. I feel like I've grown too, because I wasn't very skilled with Shakespeare, but working with these readings has been very helpful. And I actually kind of know how to work my computer now, so that's really good. Yeah.
I've learned that I should show up earlier when we do these. Okay, that's it.
I think something that's been really cool to watch is the way people's comfort level has evolved. I am a Shakespeare fan, and like I've been in a number of shows and things like that, but my comfort with the language, my comfort in interacting with other people, my comfort in making choices, because I know that this is a safe space where it matters because we all care about this and it's important to us, but it doesn't matter because I know the people that I'm reading with are not going to judge me for making a weird choice and just running with it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but I gave it a shot, and I like that safe space feeling.
Yeah, I really agree with that. I feel like when we started the first handful of readings, it was like we got together and we read a script, and it was fun and it was great. But as we've worked more together and become more comfortable with each other, it's been really cool to see people like taking risks, making choices, watching people work together and seeing how those relationships have evolved. Like people who like Taylor said, I don't know, I've never met and I may never meet, but like being able to work with them through this format, like that exchange has, I think, grown. And so seeing people committing to choices more and going for it. And that's been the really cool thing for me about this new format is, since we're working on these pieces over a couple weeks, watching people really sit with their characters and work on them and seeing those choices evolve has been really, really cool.
I've also learned Zoom, which is huge for someone like me. Actually learning Zoom and getting some interaction with some people, meeting new people. That's huge. So yeah, that's amazing.
And I think just because this is like, I don't know, geeky, and if you don't know me, I just finished an MFA program. So I've just like spent 2 years analyzing what theater is and why it does the thing it does. But I've always known, and I've always taken issue with people who say that Shakespeare is hard to understand. It's probably like one of my pet peeves that anyone could ever say, is that Shakespeare's I don't want to go sit through that because I can't understand it. And I think that Zoom and just this format proves that it's easy to understand when you take away this idea that it has to be glossy and it has to be expensive looking and it has to be so like decorated in, ooh, we're smart people, so we made it look like this so that it looks smart, so that you believe that I'm also very smart. And when you just strip it down to like people in their homes reading it, you're like, oh yeah, it was written for people to read and hear and understand. And I hope that's something we can take into actual theater and like realize you don't have to make it unavailable to people just because it's higher or classical.
I really love that.
Yeah.
I would
Agreed.
I would also add, I think it's great that we're doing Richard. I love Shakespeare. I've been in a lot of Shakespearean productions, and Richard doesn't get the love that it deserves. I think it's Shakespeare's 5th play, and you can tell that he's going to write Macbeth later on, but this is the almost an early version of it. And there are famous parts in the play, the Lady Anne scene or the soliloquy at the end to himself where he meets himself, that are very famous, but the other parts of the play are also absolutely brilliant. So the way that this play's been cut and put together, and everyone's performance of the other parts as well, on top of those 2 other things that I mentioned, is really great and exciting that we're doing Richard, because it deserves the spotlight that we'll get.
If we're still vamping, I can talk about from the production side of this, is that like for the first few months, I was cutting every single show. So every Shakespeare show that we did for the first few months, I would take and I would spend way longer than I thought it was going to take on cutting down the show to kind of fit as many actors as we had, the time limit. And so now I have a ton of beautifully cut shows. Some worked better than others, I will say that. You know, don't look at my original Macbeth, it was terrible. But learning what works through Zoom is very different than what works for the stage. And so it was really kind of neat seeing how that played out. And then in the beginning, we were doing these shows multiple times. I cannot tell you how many times we did 12th Night, maybe 7 times. So there was a lot of shows that we came back to, and then I looked at the script and said, okay, how can I fix this? What works, what doesn't? And then in the end, we said, screw it, let's do the full thing for 12th Night, which was the right choice. But it's been really kind of neat I look at things from an educator standpoint. So in the beginning, I was like, okay, I want everybody to have this moment of, I feel like I'm important. I get to play this bigger role. Let's go. Let's have this opportunity. And so it was really kind of neat seeing people that came in for the first few 2 performances, and then out of nowhere, they played the lead and they killed it. And then they continued to grow. I mean, I'm thinking about Allie in particular, that she came in and she played smaller roles, and then she had her first big one and she blew us away. And so it was really kind of neat seeing these people who came out of nowhere and just killed it since day one. And I think everyone is at this point has gotten to that point where they've played smaller roles, they played bigger roles, they played middle roles. I mean, every role is important, don't get me wrong, but it's been neat seeing that kind of growth in people. So for me, the most challenging thing is cutting the dang thing. It's hard. And I don't think people realize that it's so freaking hard.
It's an art unto itself. Shakespeare cut Shakespeare, right? So even he had to deal with, I can't put 5 acts on this stage, right? And when you cut down and some character has a line that they never originally had, that's an art unto itself. You're almost writing kind of a new play in a way. So I think this cutting is very good, and it also gives lines to other parts that make the play almost more interesting in a way, or give it almost a new, fresh meaning in a way at some
I
point.
did not cut this play. Just
Shout out to Backroom Shakespeare.
Yeah. No, not me.
Wait, who cut it and who can we clap for?
Actually, it was, I found it on a website that's a compilation. I think it's called Backroom Shakespeare, Backroom Cuttings, something like that. And they have collected a bunch of different cuttings from different people. Their goal is to have a database of 90-minute cuttings of all of Shakespeare's shows, and they're a good way there.
So shout out to Backroom Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Hard to do.
Hell yeah.
So hard to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is cohesive.
Yeah, it's a great cutting. So if you're looking for a cutting, I highly recommend them. With
It's
that,
566 pages. Yeah.
we have our final performer of the night. So, let's go ahead and get started. Just a heads up to my actors, I will read the scene transitions. I forgot to mention that before. I'm going to go ahead and start recording us just so we have a backup. And we hope you all enjoy tonight's performance of Richard III. Act 1, Scene 1, London. Enter Richard, Duke of Gloucester, alone.
Now is the winter of our discontent made glorious summer by this son of York, and all the clouds that lured upon our house in the deep bosom of the ocean buried. Now are our brows bound with victorious wreaths, our bruised arms hung up for monuments, our stern alarms changed to merry meetings, our dreadful marches to delightful measures. Grim-visaged war hath smoothed his wrinkled front, and now instead of mounting barded steeds to fright the souls of fearful adversaries, he capers nimbly in a lady's chamber to the lascivious pleasing of a lute. But I, that am not shaped for sporting tricks, nor made to court an amorous looking glass, I that am rudely stamped, and want love's majesty to strut before a wanton ambling nymph, I that am curtailed of this fair proportion, cheated of feature by dissembling nature, I that am deformed, unfinished, sent before my time into this breathing world, scarce half made up, and that so lamely and unfashionable that dogs bark at me as I hold by them. Why, I, in this weak, piping time of peace, have no delight to pass away the time, unless to spy my shadow in the sun, and descant on mine own deformity. And therefore, since I cannot prove a lover to entertain these fair, well-spoken days, I'm determined to prove a villain, and hate the idle pleasures of these days. Plots I have laid, inductions, dangerous by drunken prophecies, libels and dreams, to set my brother Clarence and the king in deadly hate against one another. Dive, thoughts, down into my soul. Here Clarence comes. Ah, brother, good day. What means this armed guard that waits upon your grace?
His Majesty, tendering my person's safety, hath appointed this conduct to convey me to the tower.
Well, upon what cause?
Because my name is George.
Like my lord, that fault is none of yours? But what's the matter, Clarence? May I know?
He hearkens after prophecies and dreams, and says a wizard told him that by G his issue disinherited shall be. And for my name is George begins with G, it follows in his thought that I am he.
Why, this it is, when men are ruled by women. 'Tis not the king that sends you to the tower. My lady Grae, his wife, Clarence, 'tis she that tempers him to this extremity. We are not safe, Clarence. We are not safe.
By heaven, I think there's no man is secure. Heard ye not what a humble suppliant Lord Hastings was to her to his delivery?
Humbly complaining to her deity got my Lord Hastings his liberty.
I beseech your graces both to pardon me. His Majesty hath straitly given in charge that no man shall have private conference of what degree soever with his brother.
We know thy charge, Brakenbury, and will obey.
We are the queen's abjects and must obey. Brother, farewell. I will unto the king. Your imprisonment shall not be long. I will deliver you, or else lie for you. Meantime, have patience.
I must perforce. Farewell.
Simple, plain Clarence. I do love thee so, that I will shortly send thy soul to heaven. No, but who comes here? The new delivered Hastings?
Good time of day unto my gracious lord.
As much unto my good Lord Chamberlain. Well, are you welcome to the open air? What news abroad?
No news so bad abroad as this at home. The king is sickly, weak, and melancholy, and his physicians fear him mightily.
Now, by St. John, that is news bad indeed. What, is he in his bed?
He is.
Huh. Go you before, I will follow you. He cannot live, I hope, and must not die till George be packed with post-horse up to heaven. Which done, God take King Edward to his mercy. Leave the world for me to bustle in. For then I'll marry Warwick's youngest daughter. What though I killed her husband and her father? The readiest way to make the wench amends is to become her husband and her father. Yeah, but yet I run before my horse to market. Clarence still breathes, Edward still lives and reigns. When they are gone, then must I count my gains.
Scene 2, the same, another street. Enter the corpse of King Henry VI, gentlemen with halberds to guard it, Lady Anne being the mourner.
Set down. Set down your honorable load while I awhile obsequiously lament the untimely fall of virtuous Lancaster. Thou bloodless remnant of that royal blood, be it lawful that I invocate thy ghost to hear the lamentations of poor Anne, wife to thy Edward, to thy slaughtered son, stabbed by this same hand that made these wounds. Oh, cursed be the hand that made these holes. Cursed be the heart that had the heart to do it. Cursed the blood that let this blood from hence. If ever he have wife, let her be made more miserable by the death of him than I am by my young lord and thee.
Stay, you that bear the corse, and set it down.
What black magician conjures up this fiend?
Villains? Set down the corpse, or by St. Paul, I'll make a corpse of him that disobeys.
What? Do you tremble? Are you all afraid? Alas, I blame you not, for you are mortal, and mortal eyes cannot endure the devil. Avaunt, thou dreadful minister of hell. Thou hast but power over his mortal body, his soul thou canst not have. Therefore be gone.
Sweet saint, for charity, be not so cursed.
If thou delight to view thy heinous deeds, behold this pattern of thy butcheries. O gentlemen, see. See dead Henry's wounds open their congealed mouths and bleed afresh. O God, which this blood makes, revenge his death. O earth, which this blood drinks, revenge his death.
Lady, you know no rules for charity, which renders good for bad, blessings for curses.
Villain, thou knowest no law of man or of God nor man, no beast so fierce but knows some touch of pity.
Well, but I know none. Therefore I am no beast.
How wonderful when devils tell the truth.
More wonderful when angels are so angry. Vouchsafe, divine perfection of a woman, of these supposed crimes to give me leave, by circumstance, to acquit myself.
Vouchsafe diffused infection of a man for these known evils, but to give me leave by circumstance to curse thy cursed self.
I did not kill your husband.
Why then he is alive.
Nay, he is dead, but slain by Edward's hand.
Didst thou not kill this king?
I grant you.
Dost grant me, hedgehog? Then God grant me too, thou mayest be damned for that wicked deed. Oh, he was gentle, mild, and virtuous.
Then the fitter for the king of heaven that hath him, for he was fitter for that place than for earth.
And now unfit for any place but hell.
Yes, one place else, if you will hear me name it.
Some dungeon?
Your bedchamber.
I'll rest betide the chamber where thou liest.
So will it, madam, till I lie with you.
I hope so.
Well, I know so. But, gentle Lady Anne, to leave this keen encounter of our wits and fall something into a slower method, is not the causer of the timeless deaths of these Plantagenets, Henry and Edward, as blameful as the executioner?
Thou art the cause and most accursed effect.
Your beauty was the cause of that effect.
If I thought that, I tell thee homicide, these nails should rend that beauty from my cheeks.
These eyes could never endure that beauty's rack. He that bereft thee, lady, of thy husband, did it to help thee to a better husband.
His better doth not breathe upon the earth.
He lives, that loves thee better than he could.
Name him.
Plantagenet.
Why, that was he.
Self-same name, but one of better nature.
Where is he?
Here. Why dost thou spit at me?
Would it were mortal poison for thy sake.
Never came poison from so sweet a place.
Never hung poison on a fowler toad. Out of my sight thou dost infect mine eyes.
Thine eyes, sweet lady, have infected mine. Teach not thy lips such scorn, for it was made for kissing. Lady, not for such contempt. If thy revengeful heart cannot forgive, lo, here, I lend thee this sharp-pointed sword, which if thou please to hide in this true breast, I lay it naked to the deadly stroke and humbly beg the death upon my knee. Nay, do not pause, for I did kill King Henry, but 'twas thy beauty that provoked me. But 'twas, nay, now dispatch. 'Twas I that stabbed young Edward, but 'twas thy heavenly face that set me on. Take up the sword again, or take up me.
Arise, dissembler. Though I wish thy death, I will not be the executioner.
Then bid me kill myself, and I will do it.
I have already.
That was in thy rage. Speak it again, and even with the word, that hand for which thy love did kill thy love, shall, for thy love, kill a far truer love. To both their deaths shalt thou be the accessory.
I would I knew thy heart.
It's figured in my tongue.
I fear me both are false.
That never man was true.
Well, put up your sword.
Then say then, my peace is made?
That shall you know hereafter.
But shall I live in hope?
All men, I hope, live so.
Vouchsafe wear this ring.
To take is not to give.
Now look, how my ring encompasseth the finger. Even so thy breast encloseth my poor heart. Wear both of them, for both of them are thine. And if thy poor devoted servant may but beg one favor at thy gracious hand, thou dost confirm his happiness forever.
What is it?
That it would please thee, leave these sad designs to him that hath more cause to be a mourner, and presently repair to Crosby House, where, after I've solemnly interred at Chertsey Monastery this noble king, and wet his grave with my repentant tears, I will, with all expedient duty, see you. Grant me this boon.
With all my heart. And much it joys me too to see you become so penitent.
Bid me farewell.
'Tis more than you deserve, but since you teach me how to flatter you, imagine I have said farewell already.
Toward Chertsey, noble lord?
No, to Whitefriars. There attend my coming. Was ever woman in this humor wooed? Was ever woman in this humor won? I have her, but I will not keep her long. What? That I killed her husband and his father to take her in her heart's extremest hate? With curses in her mouth, tears in her eyes, the bleeding witness of her hatred by. Yet to win her? All the world to nothing. Huh. I do mistake my person all this while. Upon my life, she finds till I have bought a glass that I may see my shadow as I pass.
Scene 3, the palace. Enter Queen Elizabeth, Rivers, Dorset.
Or none of you.
Is it concluded that he shall be protector?
It is determined, not concluded yet, but so it must be if the king miscarry.
Here come the lords of Buckingham and Stanley.
Good time of day unto your royal grace.
God make your majesty joyful as you have been.
Saw you the king today, my lord Stanley.
But now the Duke of Buckingham and I are come from visiting his majesty.
God grant him health. Did you confer with him?
Aye, madam, he desires to make atonement between the Duke of Gloucester and your brothers, and between them and my lord Hastings.
They do me wrong, and I will not endure it. Who are they that complain unto the king that I, forsooth, am stern and love them not? Because I cannot flatter and look fair, I must be held a rancorous enemy.
To whom in all this presence speaks your grace?
Well, to thee, that hast nor honesty nor grace. When have I injured thee? When have I done thee wrong? Or thee? Or any of your faction? Since every jack became a gentleman, as many a gentle person made a jack.
Come, we know your meaning, brother Gloucester. You envy my advancement and my friends. God grant we never may have need of you.
Meantime, God grants that we have need of you, our brothers imprisoned by your means.
I never did incense his majesty against the Duke of Clarence, but have been an earnest advocate to plead for him.
You may deny that you were not the cause of my Lord Hastings' late imprisonment.
She may, my lord, for...
She may, Lord Rivers. Nay, why? Who knows not so? What may she not? She may, marry may she.
What marry may she?
What marry may she? Marry with a king.
My lord of Gloucester, I have too long borne your blunt upbraidings and your bitter scoffs. By heaven, I will acquaint his majesty with those gross taunts that oft I have endured. Small joy have I in being England's queen.
And lessened be that small, God, I beseech him. Thy honor, state, and seat is due to me.
What? You threaten me with the telling of the king? Well, tell him, and spare not. Look, what I have said I will have vouched in presence of the king. 'Tis time to speak, my pains are quite forgot.
Out, devil. I remember them too well. Thou killedst my husband Henry in the Tower, and Edward my poor son at Tewkesbury.
There you were queen. Aye, or your husband king. I was a pack horse in his great affairs. And all which time you and your husband Grae were factious for the house of Lancaster. Let me put it in your minds, if you forget what you have been ere now and what you are, withal, what I have been, and what I am.
Oh, a murderous villain, and so still thou art.
My lord of Gloucester, in these busy days we followed then our king, our lawful king, and so we you, if you should be our king.
If I should be? I should rather be a peddler. Far be it from me, from my heart, the thought thereof.
I can no longer hold me patient. Hear me, you wrangling pirates that fall out in sharing that which you have pilled from me. Which of you trembles not that looks on me?
How wrinkled witch? What makest thou in my sight?
A husband and a son thou owest to me, and thou a kingdom. All of you allegiance, the sorrow that I have by right is yours, and all the pleasures you usurp are mine. Can curses pierce the clouds and enter heaven? Why then give way, dull clouds, to my quick curses. Elizabeth, long mayst thou live to wail thy children's death, and see another as I see thee now, decked in thy rights, as thou art stalled in mine. Long die thy happy days before thy death, and after many lengthened hours of grief, die neither mother, wife, nor England's queen. Rivers and Dorset, you were standers by, and so wast thou, Lord Hastings, when my son was stabbed with bloody daggers. God, I pray him that none of you may live his natural age, but by some unlooked accident cut off.
Have done thy charm, thou hateful withered hag.
And leave thee out Stay, dog, for thou shalt hear me. The worm of conscience still gnaw thy soul. Thy friends suspect for traitors while thou livest, and take deep traitors for thy dearest friends. No, sleep close, that deadly eye of thine, thou slander of thy heavy mother's womb, thou rag of honor, thou detested
Margaret!
Richard!
Huh?
I call thee not.
Well, then I cry mercy then, for I did think thou hast called me all these bitter names.
Why, so I did, but looked for no reply. Oh, let me make the period to my curse.
'Tis done by me and ends in Margaret.
Thus have you breathed your curse against yourself. Nope.
Thus have you breathed your curse against yourself.
Oh, poor painted queen, vain flourish of my fortune, why strewest thou sugar on that bottled spider, whose deadly web ensnareth thee about? Fool, fool, thou wettest a knife to kill thyself. The time will come when thou shalt wish for me to help thee curse this poisonous bunch-backed toad.
Have done. Have done.
Oh, Buckingham, take heed of yonder dog. Look, when he fawns, he bites, and when he bites, his venom tooth will rankle to the death. Have naught to do with him. Beware of him.
What doth she say, my lord of Buckingham?
Nothing that I respect, my gracious lord.
What, dost thou scorn me for my gentle counsel, and soothe the devil that I warn thee from? Oh, but remember this another day, when he shall split thy very heart with sorrow, and say poor Margaret was a prophetess.
My hair does stand on end to hear her curses.
And so doth mine. I muse why she's at liberty.
I cannot blame her. By God's holy mother, she hath had too much wrong, and I repent my part thereof that I have done to her.
I never did her any to my knowledge.
But you have all the vantage of her wrong.
Madam, his majesty doth call for you, and does for your grace, and yours, my noble lord.
Come, lords, will you go with me?
We wait upon your grace.
Oh no, my hardy, stout, resolved mates. We're going to dispatch with this thing.
We are, my lord, and come to have the warrant that we may be admitted where he is.
Well thought upon. Here, I have it about me. But, sirs, be sudden in the execution. Clarence is well spoke, and perhaps may move your hearts to pity if you mark him.
Fear not, my lord, we will not stand to prate. We go to use our hands and not our tongues.
Your eyes drop millstones when fools' eyes fall tears. I like you, lads. About your business straight. Go, dispatch.
We will, my noble lord.
Scene 4, London, the Tower. Enter Clarence and Brakenbury.
Why looks your grace so heavily today?
Oh, I have passed a miserable night, so full of fearful dreams, of ugly sights.
What was your dream, my dear lord? I pray you tell me.
Methoughts I had broken from the tower, and was embarked across to Burgundy, and in my company my brother Gloucester, who from my cabin tempted me to walk upon the hatches. As we paced along, methought that Gloucester stumbled, and in falling struck me that thought him to stay him overboard. Oh Lord, methought what a pain it was to drown. Methought I saw 1,000 fearful wrecks, 1,000 men, fishes gnawed upon, inestimable stones, unvalued jewels, all scattered at the bottom of the sea.
Awaked you not with this sore agony?
No, my dream was lengthened after life. Oh, then began the tempest to my soul. I passed, methought, the melancholy flood unto the kingdom of perpetual night. With that, methoughts, a legion of foul fiends environed around me and howled in mine ears such hideous cries that, with the very noise, I, trembling, waked, and for a season after could not believe that I was in hell. Such terrible impressions made my dream.
No marvel, my lord, though it affrighted you. I am afraid, methinks, to hear you tell it.
O Brakenbury, I've done these things that now give evidence against my soul. For Edward's sake, and see how he requites me. Keeper, I prithee, please stay with me a while. My soul is heavy, and I fain would sleep.
I will, my lord. God give your grace good rest.
Oh, who's here?
What wouldst thou, fellow, and how camest thou hither?
Well, I would speak with Clarence, and I came hither on my legs.
What, so brief?
'Tis better, sir, than to be tedious. Let him see our commission and talk no more.
I am in this commanded to deliver the noble Duke of Clarence to your hands. I will not reason what is meant hereby, because I will be guiltless of the meaning. There lies the Duke asleep, and there the keys. Out to the king, and signify to him that thus I have resigned to you my charge.
You may, sir. 'Tis a point of wisdom. Fare you well.
What? Shall we stab him as he sleeps?
No. He'll say 'twas done cowardly when he wakes.
Why, he shall never wake until the great judgment day.
Why, then he'll say we stabbed him sleeping.
The urging of the word judgment hath bred a kind of a remorse in me.
What? Art thou afraid?
Not to kill him, having a warrant, but to be damned for killing him, from which no warrant can defend me.
I thought thou hadst been resolute.
So I am, to let him live.
I'll back to the Duke of Gloucester and tell him so.
Oh, nay, I pray thee stay a little. I hope this passionate humor of mine will change. It was wont to hold me out, but while one tells me to leave.
How dost thou feel thyself now?
Faith, some certain dregs of conscience are yet within me.
Remember our reward when the deed's done.
Zounds, he dies! I forgot the reward.
Where's that conscience now?
Oh, in the Duke of Gloucester's purse.
When he opens his purse to give us our reward, thy conscience flies out.
'Tis no matter. Let it go. There's few or none will entertain it.
What if it come to thee again?
Well, I'll not meddle with it. It makes a man a coward. A man cannot steal, but it accuseth him. A man cannot swear, but it checks him. A man, he cannot lie with his neighbor's wife, but it detects him. It mutinies in a man's bosom. It fills a man full of obstacles. It made me once restore a purse of gold that by chance I found. It beggars any man that keeps it. It is turned out of towns and cities for a dangerous thing, and every man that means to live well endeavors to trust to himself and live without.
Sounds. 'Tis even now at my elbow persuading me not to kill the Duke.
Take the devil in thy mind and believe him not.
I am strong-framed. He cannot prevail with me.
Spoke like a tall man that respects thy reputation. Come, shall we fall to work?
Take him over the costard with the hilts of thy sword, and then throw him into the Malmsey butt in the next room.
Oh, excellent device, and make a sop out of him.
Soft. He wakes.
Strike.
No, we'll reason with him.
Where art thou, keeper? Give me a cup of wine.
You shall have wine enough, my lord, anon.
In God's name, what art thou?
A man, as you are.
Who sent you hither? Wherefore do you come? To murder me?
I.
You scarcely have the hearts to tell me so, and therefore cannot have the hearts to do it. Wherein, my friends, have I offended you?
Offended us, you have not.
Are you drawn forth among a world of men to slay the innocent? What is my offense?
What we will do, we do upon command.
And he that hath commanded us is our king.
If you're hired from me, go back again, and I will send you to my brother Gloucester, who shall reward you better for my life than Edward will for tidings of my death.
You are deceived. Your brother Gloucester hates you.
Oh, no, he loves me and holds me dear. Go you him from me.
You deceive yourself. 'Tis he that sends us to destroy you here.
Make peace with God, for you must die, my lord.
Have you that holy feeling in your souls to counsel me to make my peace with God? And are you yet so to your own souls so blind that you will war with God by murdering me? Oh, sirs, consider that they that have set you on to do this deed will hate you for the deed.
What shall we do?
Relent and save your souls. Which of you, if you were a prince's son being pent from liberty as I am now, if two such murderers as yourselves came to you, would not entreat for life?
Relent? No, 'tis cowardly and womanish.
Not to relent is beastly, savage, devilish. My friend, I spy some pity in thy looks. Oh, if thine eye not be a flatterer, come thou to my side and entreat for me.
Look behind you, my lord.
Take that and that. And if all this will not do, I'll drown you in the malmsey butt within.
A bloody deed and desperately dispatched. How fain, like Pilate, would I wash my hands of this most grievous matter.
How now? What means thou that thou helpst me not? By heavens, the Duke shall know how slack you've been.
I would he knew that I have saved his brother. Take thou thee fee and tell him what I say, for I repent me that this Duke is slain.
So do not I. Go, coward as thou art. Well, I'll go hide the body in some hole till that the Duke take order for his burial. And when I have my meed, I will away, for this will out, and then I must not stay.
Act 2, Scene 1, London, the Palace. A flourish. Enter King Edward IV, sick. Queen Elizabeth, Dorset, Rivers, Hastings, Buckingham, Grae.
Why so? Now have I done a good day's work, and more in peace my soul shall part to heaven, since I have made my friends at peace on earth. Hastings and Rivers, take each other's hand. Dissemble not your hatred. Swear your love.
By heaven, my soul is purged from grudging hate, and with my hand I seal my true heart's love.
So thrive I, as I truly swear the like.
Madam, yourself is not exempt in this, nor your son Dorset, Buckingham, nor you. You have been factious one against the other. Wife, love Hastings. Let him kiss your hand, and what you do, do it unfeignedly.
Dear Hastings, I will never more remember our former hatred, so thrive I and mine.
Dorset, embrace him. Hastings, love Lord Dorset.
This interchange of love, I here protest, upon my part shall be inviolable.
And so swear I.
Now, princely Buckingham, seal thou this league with thy embracements to my wife's allies, and make me happy in your unity.
Whenever Buckingham doth turn his hate upon your grace, but with all duteous love doth cherish you and yours. God punish me with hate and knows where I expect most love.
A pleasing cordial, princely Buckingham, is this thy vow unto my sickly heart. There wanteth now our brother Gloucester here to make the blessed period of this peace.
Oh, and in good time, here comes the noble Duke.
Ah, well, good morrow to my sovereign king and queen, and princely peers, a happy time of day.
Happy indeed, as we have spent the day. Gloucester, we done deeds of charity, made peace of enmity, fair love of hate, between these swelling, wrong insensed peers.
A blessed labor, my most sovereign lord. Amongst this princely heap, If any here by false intelligence or wrong surmise hold me a foe, if I unwittingly, or in my rage, have aught committed that is hardly borne, by any in this presence I desire to reconcile me to his friendly peace. His death to me to be at enmity, I hate it, and I desire all good men's love. I do not know that Englishman alive with whom my soul is at any jot at odds, more than the infant that is born tonight. I thank my God for my humility.
A holy day shall this be kept hereafter. I would to God all strifes were well compounded. My sovereign lord, I do beseech your highness to take our brother Clarence to your grace.
Why, madam, I have offered love for this, to be so flouted in this royal presence? Who knows not that the noble duke is dead?
Who knows not he is dead? Who knows he is?
All-seeing heaven, what a world is this?
Is Clarence dead? The order was reversed.
But he, poor man, by your first order was killed.
A boon, my sovereign, for my service done.
I prithee peace. My soul is full of sorrow.
I will not rise unless your highness hear me.
Then say at once what it is thou requests.
The forfeit, sovereign, for my servant's life, who slew today a riotous gentleman lately attendant on the Duke of Norfolk.
My brother killed no man. His fault was thought, and yet his punishment was bitter death. Who sued to me for him? Who in my wrath kneeled at my feet and bid me be advised? Who spoke of brotherhood? Who spoke of love? But when your carters or your waiting vassals have done a drunken slaughter and defaced the precious image of our dear Redeemer, you straight are on your knees for pardon, pardon, and I unjustly too must grant it you. Oh God, I fear thy justice will take hold on me and you and mine and yours for this. Come, Hastings, help me to my closet. Ah, poor Clarence.
This is the fruits of rashness. Marked you not how that the guilty kindred of the queen looked pale when they did hear of Clarence's death? They did urge it still unto the king. God will revenge it. Come, lords, will you go to comfort Edward with our company?
We wait upon your grace.
Scene 2, the palace. Enter the Duchess of York. Enter Queen Elizabeth with her hair about her ears. Rivers, Grae, and Dorset after her.
Ah, who shall hinder me to wail and weep, to chide my fortune and torment myself?
What means the scene of rude impatience?
Edward, my lord, thy son, our king, is dead.
I have bewept a worthy husband's death, and I lived by looking on his images. But now 2 mirrors of his princely semblance are cracked in pieces by malignant death, and I for comfort have but one false glass, which grieves me when I see my shame in him.
Oh, for my husband, for my dear Lord Edward.
Alas for both mine, Edward and Clarence.
Comfort, dear mother. Sister, bethink you like a careful mother of your young son and prince. Send straight for him. Let him be crowned. In your comfort he lives.
Madam, have comfort. All of us have a cause to wail the dimming of our shining star, but none can cure their harms by wailing them. Madam, my mother, I do cry you mercy. I did not see your grace. Humbly on my knee, I crave your blessing.
God bless thee and put meekness in thy breast, love, charity, obedience, and true duty.
Amen. And make me die a good old man. That is the butt end of a mother's blessing. I marvel that her grace did leave it out.
Me seemeth good that with some little train forthwith from Ludlow, the young prince be fetched hither to London to be crowned our king.
Why with some little train, my Lord Buckingham?
Marry, my lord, lest by a multitude the new healed wound of malice should break out.
No. I hope the king may peace with all of us, and the compact is firm and true in me.
And so in me, and so I think in all. Yet, since it is but greed, it should be put to no apparent likelihood of breach, which haply by much company might be argued. Therefore I say, with noble Buckingham, that it is so meet so few fetch the prince.
Then be it so. And we to determine who they shall be that straight shall post to Ludlow.
My lord, whoever journeys to the prince, for God's sake, let not us two stay at home. For by the way, I'll sort occasion is indexed to the story we late talked of, too. Part the queen's proud kindred from the prince.
My other self, my counsel's consistory, my oracle, my prophet, my dear cousin, I, as a child, will go by thy direction. Toward Ludlow, then, or will not stay behind.
Scene 4, London, the palace. Enter young York, Queen Elizabeth, and the Duchess of York.
I long with all my heart to see the prince. I hope he is much grown since last I saw him.
But I hear no. They say my son of York hath almost o'erta'en him in his growth.
Aye, mother, but I would not have it so.
Why, my young cousin, it is good to grow.
Grandam, one night, as we did sit at supper, my uncle Rivers talked how I did grow more than my brother. Aye, quoth my uncle Gloucester, small herbs have grace, great weeds do grow apace. And since methinks I would not grow so fast, because sweet flowers are slow, and weeds make haste.
Good faith, the saying did not hold in him that did object the same to thee. He was the wretchedest thing when he was young, so long a-growing and so leisurely, that if his rule were true, he should be gracious.
Mary, they say my uncle grew so fast that he could gnaw a crust at 2 hours old. 'Twas 2 full years ere I could get a tooth.
A parlous boy, go to. You are too shrewd.
Good madam, be not angry with the child.
Pitchers have ears.
Here comes a messenger. What news?
Such news, madam, it grieves me to report.
How fares the prince?
Well, madam, and in health.
What is thy news, then?
Lord Rivers and Lord Grae were sent to Pomfret. Prisoners!
Who hath committed them?
The mighty Dukes Gloucester and Buckingham.
For what offense?
Why or for what these nobles were committed is all unknown to me, my gracious lady.
Ay me, I see the ruin of my house. Welcome, destruction, blood, and massacre. I see as in a map the end of all.
Accursed and unquiet wrangling days. How many of you have mine eyes beheld?
Come, my boy, we will to sanctuary.
Go. I'll conduct you to the sanctuary.
That is the end of Act 2. We are going to take a short break here, take about a 10-minute intermission, and we will see you all shortly. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the first act and your intermission. We are going to return now to Shakespeare's Richard III. Act 3, Scene 1, London, a street. The trumpets sound. Enter the young Prince Edward, Richard, and Buckingham.
Welcome, sweet prince, to London, to your chamber.
Yeah, welcome, dear cousin, my thoughts sovereign.
I want more uncles here to welcome me.
Oh.
Sweet prince, the untainted virtue of your years hath not yet dived into the world's deceit. Those uncles which you want were dangerous. God keep you from them, and from such false friends.
God keep me from false friends, but they were none. I thought my mother and my brother York would long ere this have met us on the way. Fie, what a slug is Hastings, that he comes not to tell us whether they will come or no.
And in good time, here comes the sweating lord.
Welcome, my lord. What, will our mother come? If only we could hear him, if his mute was off.
I'm so sorry. I doth come so quickly. On what occasion, God he knows, not I, the queen your mother and your brother York have taken sanctuary. The tender prince would fain have come with me to meet your grace, but by his mother was perforce withheld.
Fie, what an indirect and peevish course is this of hers. Lord Hastings, will your grace persuade the queen to send the Duke of York unto his princely brother presently? If she deny, from her jealous arms pluck him perforce.
I go, my lord.
Good Lord, make all the speedy haste you may. Say, Uncle Gloucester, if our brother come, where shall we sojourn till our coronation?
Where it seems best unto your royal self. If I may counsel you, some day or two your highness shall repose you at the Tower. Then, where you please, and shall be thought most fit for your best health and recreation.
I do not like the Tower of any place.
Why so young? They say no never live long.
What say you, uncle?
Now in good time, here comes the Duke of York.
Richard of York, how fares our loving brother?
Well, my dread lord, so must I call you now.
Aye, brother, to our grief as it is yours. Too late he died that might have kept that title, which by his death has lost much majesty.
Yes, how fares our cousin, noble Lord of York?
I pray you, uncle, give me this dagger.
What, would you have my weapon, little lord?
I would, that I might thank you as you call me.
How?
Little.
My Lord of York will still be cross and talk. Uncle, your grace knows how to bear with him.
You mean bear me, not to bear with me. Uncle, my brother mocks both you and me. Because that I am little, like an ape, he thinks that you should bear me on your shoulders.
My lord, will it please you to pass along? Myself and my good cousin Buckingham will to your mother to entreat of her to meet you at the Tower and to welcome.
What, will you go unto the Tower, my lord?
My Lord Protector needs will have it so.
I shall not sleep in quiet at the Tower.
Why? What should you fear?
Marry, my uncle Clarence's angry ghost. My grandam told me he was murdered there.
I fear no uncle's dead.
Nor none that live, I hope.
And if they live, I hope I need not fear. But come, my lord, with a heavy heart, thinking on them, go I into the Tower.
Thank you, my lord. This little prating York was not incensed by his subtle mother to taunt and scorn you thus opprobriously?
And no doubt, no doubt. 'Tis a perilous boy. He's all his mother's from top to toe.
Well, let them rest. Come hither, Catesby. What thinkest thou? Is it not an easy matter to make William, Lord Hastings, of our mind, for the installment of this noble duke in the seat royal of this famous isle?
He for his father's sake so loves the prince that he will not be one to aught against him.
Oh, and what thinkest thou then of Stanley? Will not he?
He will do all in all as Hastings does.
Well then, no more but this. Go, gentle Catesby, and as it were far off, sound thou Lord Hastings. How doth he stand affected to our purpose, and summon him tomorrow to the Tower to sit about the coronation.
Commend me to Lord Hastings. Tell him, Catesby, his ancient knot of dangerous adversaries tomorrow are let blood at Pomfrey Castle.
My good lords both, with all the heed I can.
Now, my lord, what shall we do if we perceive Lord Hastings will not yield to our complots?
Chop off his head. Something we will determine. And look, when I am king, claim thou of me the earldom of Hereford and the movables whereof the king my brother stood possessed.
I'll claim that promise at your grace's hand.
And look to have it yielded with all kindness. Come, let us sup betimes, that afterwards we may digest our complots in some form.
Scene 2, before Lord Hastings' house.
Many good morrows to my noble lord.
Good morrow, Catesby. You are early stirring. What news? What news in our tottering state?
It is a reeling world indeed, my lord, and I believe 'twill never stand upright till Richard wear the garland of the realm.
How? Wear the garland? Dost thou mean the crown?
Aye, my good lord.
I'll have this crown of mine cut from my shoulders, ere I will see the crown so foul misplaced. But canst thou guess that he doth aim at it?
Aye, on my life, and hopes to find you forward upon his party for the gain thereof. And thereupon he sends you this good news, that this same very day your enemies, the kindred of the queen, must die at Pomfret.
Indeed, I am no mourner of that news, because that they have been still my adversaries, but that I'll give my voice on Richard's side to bar my master's heirs in true descent. God knows I will not do it to the death.
God keep your lordship in that gracious mind.
What, shall we toward the tower? The day is spent.
Come, my lord, let's away.
Scene 3, Pomfret Castle.
Sir Richard Ratcliffe, let me tell thee this. Today thou shalt behold a subject die for truth, for beauty, and for loyalty.
Okay. God bless the prince of all the pack of you. A knot you are of damned bloodsuckers.
Dispatch. The limit of your lives is out.
Scene 4, the Tower of London. Enter Buckingham, Stanley, Hastings, the Bishop of Ely, Catesby.
Now, noble peers, the cause why we are met is to determine of the coronation in God's name. Speak. When is the royal day?
Is all things ready for that royal time?
It is, and once but nomination.
Tomorrow, then, I judge a happy day.
Who knows the Lord Protector's mind herein? Who is the most inward with the noble Duke?
Your Grace, we think should soonest know his mind.
We know each other's faces. For our hearts, he knows no more of mine than I of yours, or I of his, my lord, than you of mine. Lord Hastings, you and he are near in love?
I thank his grace. I know he loves me well, but for his purpose in the coronation, I have not sounded him, nor he delivered his gracious pleasure any way therein. But you, my honorable lords, may name the time, and in the Duke's behalf, I'll give my voice, which I presume he'll take in gentle part.
Ah, now in good time, here comes the Duke himself.
Ah, my noble lords and cousins all, good morrow. I have been long a sleeper, but I trust my absence doth neglect no great design, which by my presence might have been concluded.
Had you not come upon your cue, my lord, William, Lord Hastings had pronounced your part.
Well, then my Lord Hastings, no man might be bolder. His lordship knows me well and loves me well. My lord of Ely, when I was last in Holborn, I saw good strawberries in your garden there. I do beseech you, send for some of them.
Marry and will, my lord, with all my heart.
Cousin of Buckingham, a word with you. Catesby hath sounded Hastings in our business, and finds the testy gentleman so hot as he will lose his head ere give consent. His master's child, as he worshipfully terms it, shall lose the royalty of England's throne.
Withdraw yourself a while. I'll follow you.
But where is my lord the Duke of Gloucester? I have sent for these strawberries.
His grace looks cheerfully and smooth this morning. I think there's never a man in Christendom that can less hide his love or hate than he, for by his face straight shall you know his heart.
What if his heart perceive you in his face by any livelihood he showed today?
Marry, that with no man here he is offended, for were he had shown it in his looks.
I pray you all, tell me what they deserve that do conspire my death with devilish plots of damned witchcraft, and have prevailed upon my body with their hellish charms.
The tender love I bear your grace, my lord, makes me most forward in this princely presence to doom the offenders, whosoe'er they be.
Then be your eyes the witness of their evil. See how I am bewitched? Behold mine arm like a blasted sapling all withered up. And this is Edward's wife, that monstrous witch that by her witchcraft thus has marked me.
If she has done this deed, my noble lord.
If thou protect her, this damned strumpet, talkest thou to me of ifs? Thou art a traitor. Off with his head. Now by St. Paul I swear I will not die till I see the same. Catesby, look that it be done. The rest that love me, rise, follow me.
Woe, woe for England, not a whit for me, for I, too fond, might have prevented this. Oh, Margaret, Margaret, now thy heavy curse is lighted on poor Hastings' wretched head.
Come, come, dispatch. The Duke would be at dinner. Make a short shrift. He longs to see your head.
Come, lend me to the block. Bear him my head. They smile at me who shortly shall be dead.
Scene 5, the Tower Walls. Enter Richard and Buckingham.
Come, cousin. Canst thou quake and change thy color, as if thou wert distraught and mad with terror?
I can counterfeit the deep tragedian. Lord Mayor.
Look to the drawbridge there.
Hark, a drum!
Overlook the walls.
Lord Mayor, the reason we have sent...
Look back, defend thee. Here are enemies.
God in our innocency defend and guard us.
Be patient. Wait, they're friends. Ratcliffe and Catesby.
Here is the head of that ignoble traitor, the dangerous and unsuspected Hastings.
So dear I love the man that I must weep. I took him for the plainest harmless creature that breathed upon this earth Christian.
Would you imagine, or almost believe, were it not that by great preservation we live to tell it? The subtle traitor this day had plotted in the council house to murder me and my good lord of Gloucester.
Had he done so, then he deserved his death. And you, my good lords, both have well proceeded to warn false traitors from the like attempts, and do no doubt, right noble princes both. But I'll acquaint our duteous citizens with all your just proceedings in this cause.
And to that end, we wish your lordship here, to avoid the carping creatures of the world.
And so, my good Lord Mayor, we bid you farewell.
Go after, cousin Buckingham. The mayor towards Guildhall hires him an all post. There, at your meetest vantage of the time, infer the bastardy of Edward's children. Moreover, urge his hateful luxury and bestial appetite in the charge of lust.
Fear not, my lord. I'll play the order as if the golden fee for which I plead were for myself.
Oh. How now? What say the citizens?
The citizens are mum. Say not a word.
Touched you on the bastardy of Edward's children?
I did, indeed, left nothing fitting for your purpose untouched or slightly handled in discourse. And when mine oratory grew to an end, I bid them that did love their country good cry, God save Richard, England's royal king.
And they did so.
No, so God help me, they spake not a word.
What tongueless blocks were they? Would they not speak?
No, by my troth, my lord.
Will not the mayor then and his brethren come?
The mayor is here at hand. Intend some fear. And look, you get a prayer book in your hand, and be not easily won to our requests. Play the maid's part. Still answer nay, and take it.
I go. If you plead as well for them, as I can say nay to thee for myself, no doubt we'll bring it to a happy issue.
Go up to the leads, the Lord Mayor knocks. Welcome, my lord. I dance attendance here. I think the Duke spoke with them. Now, Catesby, what says your lord to my request?
He doth entreat your grace, my noble lord, to visit him tomorrow or next day. He is within with two right reverend fathers, divinely bent to meditation.
Return, good Catesby, to the gracious Duke. Tell him myself, the mayor, and citizens are come to have some conference with his grace.
I'll signify so much unto him straight.
Oh, my lord. This prince is not an Edward. He is not lolling on a lewd love bed, but on his knees, at meditation. I mean, happy were England would this virtuous prince take on his grace the sovereignty thereof, but sure, I fear we shall not win him to it.
Mary, God defend his grace, should say us nay.
I fear he will. Oh, here comes Catesby again. Now, Catesby, what says your grace?
He wonders to what end you have assembled such troops of citizens to come to him.
By heaven. We come to him in perfect love. And so once more, return and tell his grace. When holy and devout religious men are at their beads, 'tis hard to draw them thence. So sweet is a zealous contemplation.
See, where he stands between two clergymen.
Famous Plantagenet, most gracious prince, lend us favorable ears to your request, and pardon us the interruption of thy devotion and right Christian zeal.
My lord, there needs no such apology. I'd rather do beseech you pardon me, who, earnest in the service of my God, defer the visitation of my friends. But, leaving this, what is your grace's pleasure?
Know then, it is your fault that you resign the supreme seat, the throne, majestical, to the corruption of a blemished stock, which, to recur, we hardly solicit your gracious self to take on you the charge and kingly government of this, your land, your right of birth, your empery, your own.
Your love deserves my thanks. But my desert, unmeritable, shuns your high request. But God be thanked, there is no need of me. The royal tree hath left us royal fruit.
You say that Edward is your brother's son. So say we too, but not by Edward's wife. Then, good, my lord. Take to your royal self this proffered benefit of dignity.
Do good, my lord. Your citizens entreat you.
Alas, why would you heap these cares on me?
If you refuse it, as in love and zeal loath to depose the child, your brother's son, as we all know, your tenderness of heart. Yet know, where'er you accept our suit or no, your brother's son shall never reign our king, but we will plant some other in the throne to the disgrace and defall of your house. Come, citizens! Zounds! I'll entreat no more.
Do not swear, my lord of Buckingham.
Call them again, sweet prince. Accept their suit. If you deny them, all the land will rue it.
Would you enforce me to a world of cares? Call them again. I'm not made of stone. Cousin of Buckingham, and sage, grave men, since you will buckle fortune on my back, I must have patience to endure the load. For God doth know, and you may partly see, how far I am from the desire of this.
God bless your grace. We see it and will say it.
In saying so, you shall but say the truth.
Then I salute you this royal title. Long live King Richard, England's worthy king.
Long live King Richard, England's worthy king.
Act 4, Scene 1, Before the Tower. Enter on one side Queen Elizabeth, Duchess of York and Dorset. On the other side, Anne, Duchess of Gloucester.
Daughter, well met.
God give your graces both a happy and a joyful time of day.
Much to you, good sister. Whither away?
No farther than the tower, and as I guess, upon the like devotion as yourselves to congratulate the gentle princes there.
And in good time. Here the lieutenant comes. Master Lieutenant, pray you, by your leave, how doth the prince and my young son of York?
Right well, dear madam. By your patience I may not suffer you to visit them. The king hath strictly charged the contrary.
The king? Who's that?
I mean the Lord Protector.
The Lord protect him from that kingly title. I am their mother. Who shall bar me from them?
I am bound by oath, and therefore pardon me.
Oh, come, madam, you must straight to Westminster, there to be crowned Richard's royal queen.
Oh, cut my lace asunder, that my pent heart may have some scope to beat, or else I swoon with this dead-killing news.
Spiteful tidings, so unpleasant news.
Be of good cheer, mother. How fares your grace?
Oh, Dorset, speak not to me. Get thee gone. If thou wilt outstrip death, go, cross the seas, and live with Richmond from the reach of hell. Go, hide thee from this slaughterhouse, lest thou increase the number of the dead, and make me die the thrall of Margaret's curse, nor mother, wife, nor England's counted queen.
Full of wise care is your counsel, madam. Come, madam, come. I in all haste was sent.
And I in all unwillingness will go.
Go, go, poor soul. I envy not thy glory.
Oh, when I say I look on Richard's face, this was my wish. Be thou, quoth I, accursed for making me so young, so old a widow. And when thou wettest, let sorrow haunt thy bed, and be thy wife, if any be so mad, more miserable by the life of thee, than thou hast made me by my dear lord's death. Lo, ere I can repeat this curse again within so small a time, my woman's heart grossly grew captive to his honey words and proved the subject of my own soul's curse, which hitherto hath held mine eyes from rest, for never yet 1 hour in his bed have I enjoyed the golden dew of sleep. Besides, he hates me for my father Warwick, and will, no doubt, shortly be rid of me.
Oh, poor heart, adieu. I pity thy complaining.
No more than from my soul I mourn for yours.
Go thou to Richmond, and good fortune guide thee. Go thou to Richard, and good angels tend thee. Go thou to sanctuary, and good thoughts possess thee. I to my grave, where peace and rest lie with me.
Stay, yet look back with me unto the tower. Pity you ancient stones, those tender babes whom envy hath immured within your walls. Rude, ragged nurse, old sullen playfellow, for tender princes, use my babies well, so foolish sorrow bids your stones farewell.
Scene 2, London, the palace. Enter King Richard III in pomp, crowned. Buckingham, Catesby, Ratcliffe.
Stand all apart. Cousin of Buckingham.
My gracious sovereign.
Give me thy hand. Thus high, by thy advice and thy assistance, is King Richard seated. But shall we wear these glories for a day, or shall they last? And we rejoice.
Still live they, and forever may they last.
Buckingham, now do I play the touch to try if thou be current gold indeed. Young Edward lives. Think now what I would speak.
Say on, my loving lord.
By Buckingham, I say I would be king.
Why, so you are, my thrice renowned liege.
Am I king? But Edward lives.
True, noble prince.
Bitter consequence that Edward still should live. True, noble prince. Cousin, thou wast not wont to be so dull. Shall I be plain? I wish the bastards dead. What sayest thou? Speak suddenly. Be brief.
Your grace may do your pleasure.
Thou art all ice. Thy kindness freezes. Say, have I thy consent that they shall die?
Give me some breath, some little pause, my lord, before I positively speak in this. I will resolve you herein presently.
The king is angry. See, he gnaws his lip.
Ratcliffe!
My lord.
Knowest thou not any whom corrupting gold would tempt unto such a close exploit of death?
I know a discontented gentleman whose humble means match not his haughty spirit. Gold were as good as 20 orators, and will no doubt tempt him to anything.
What is his name?
His name, my lord, is Tyrrel.
Oh, well, I partly know of the man. Go, call him hither. The deep revolving, witty Buckingham no more shall be the neighbour to my counsel. How now, Lord Stanley, what's the news?
The Marquess Dorset, as I hear, is fled to Richmond in the parts where he abides.
Come hither, Catesby. Rumour it abroad that Anne, my queen, is sick and like to die. I must be married to my brother's daughter, or else my kingdom stands on brittle glass. Murder her brothers, then marry her. Uncertain way of gain, but I am in so far in blood that sin will pluck on sin. Tear-falling pity dwells not in this eye. Is thy name Tyrrel?
James Tyrrel, your most obedient subject.
Oh, art thou indeed?
Prove me, my gracious lord.
Darest thou to kill a friend of mine?
Please you, I'd rather kill 2 enemies.
Why, then thou hast it. 2 deep enemies, Tyrrel. I mean those bastards in the tower.
Leave me to have open means to come to them, and soon I'll rid you from your fear of them.
Thou singest sweet music. Hark! Come hither, Tyrrel. Go, by this token, rise and lend thine ear. There is no more but so. Say it is done, and I will love thee and prefer thee for it.
I will dispatch it straight.
My lord, I have considered in my mind the late request that you did sound me in.
Well, let that rest. Dorset fled to Richmond.
I hear the news, my lord.
Stanley, he is your wife's son. Well, look unto it. Huh?
My lord, I claim your gift, my due by promise. The earldom of Hereford and the movables which you have promised I shall possess.
Stanley, look to your wife. If she conveyed letters to Richmond, you shall answer it.
What says your highness to my just request? My lord!
Clock. What's a clock?
I am thus bold to put your grace in mind of what you promised me.
Well, but what's a clock?
Upon the stroke of 10.
Well, let it strike.
Why let it strike?
Because that, like a jack, thou keepest the stroke between thy begging and my meditation. I am not in the giving vein today.
May it please you to resolve me in my suit.
Thou troublest me. I am not in the vein.
And is it thus? Repays he my deep service with such contempt? Made him I king for this? Oh, let me think on Hastings and be gone to Breckenrock while my fearful head is on.
Scene 3, the same. Enter Tyrrel.
The tyrannous and bloody act is done. The most arch deed of piteous massacre that ever yet this land was guilty of. Oh, thus lay the gentle babes, thus girdling one another within their alabaster innocent arms. A book of prayers on their pillow lie, which once almost made me change my mind, but oh, the devil, we smothered the most replenish sweet work of nature that from the prime creation ere she framed.
Kind Tyrrel, am I happy in thy news?
If to have done the things you gave in change beget your happiness, be happy then, for it is done, my lord.
But didst you see them dead?
I did, my lord.
And buried, gentle Tyrrel?
The chaplain of the tower hath buried them, but where, to say the truth, I do not know.
Come to me, Tyrrel. Soon, after supper, and thou shalt tell the process of their death. Farewell till then.
I humbly take my leave.
The sons of Edward sleep in Abraham's bosom, and Anne, my wife, have bid the world good night. Now, for I know the Breton Richmond aims at young Elizabeth, my brother's daughter, and by that knot looks proudly o'er the crown. To her I go, a jolly, thriving wooer.
My lord.
Good or bad news? Good or bad news that thou comest in so bluntly?
Bad news, my lord. Eli is fled to Richmond, and Buckingham, backed with the hardy Welshman, is in the field, and still his power increaseth.
Go! Muster men! My counsel is my shield. We must be brief when traitors brave the field.
Scene 4, before the palace. Enter Queen Margaret. Here in these confines slyly have I lurked to watch the waning of my enemies. Withdraw thee, wretched Margaret, who comes here.
Ah, my poor princes, my tender babes, hover about me with your airy wings and hear your mother's lamentation.
Rest thy unrest on England's lawful earth, unlawfully made drunk with innocent blood.
If ancient sorrow be most reverend, give mine the benefit of seniority. I had an Edward till a Richard killed him. I had a Henry till a Richard killed him. Thou hadst an Edward till a Richard killed him. Thou hadst a Richard, till a Richard killed him. Thou hadst a Clarence too, and Richard killed him. From forth the kennel of thy womb hath crept a hellhound that doth hunt us all to death. Cancel his bond of life, dear God, I pray, that I may live to say the dog is dead.
Oh, thou did prophesy the time would come that I should wish for thee to help me curse that bottled spider, that foul bunch-backed toad.
I called thee then vain flourish of my fortune. I called thee then poor shadow, painted queen. Where is thy husband now? Where be thy brothers? Where be thy 2 sons? Wherein dost thou joy? Who sues and kneels and says, God save the queen? Farewell, York's wife and queen of sad mischance. These English woes will make me smile in France.
Oh, thou well skilled in curses, stay a while and teach me how to curse mine enemies.
Oh, forbear to sleep the night and fast the day. Compare dead happiness with living woe. Think that thy babes were sweeter than they were, and he that slew them fouler than he is. Bettering thy loss makes the bad causer worse. Revolving this will teach thee how to curse.
My words are dull. Oh, quicken them with thine.
Thy woes will make them sharp and pierce like mine.
Let them have scope, though what they will impart help nothing else, yet do they ease the heart.
If so, then not be tongue-tied. Go with me, and in the breath of bitter words let's smother my damned son, which thy 2 sweet sons smothered.
Who intercepts my expedition?
Oh, she that might have intercepted thee by strangling thee in her accursed womb from all the slaughterers, wretch, that thou hast done.
Tell me, thou villain slave, where are my children?
Thou toad, where is thy brother Clarence?
Where is the gentle Rivers, Hastings, Grae?
Let not the heavens hear these telltale women rail on the Lord's anointed. Strike, I say. Either be patient and entreat me fair, or with a clamorous report of war, thus will I drown your exclamations.
Thou camest to earth to make the earth my hell.
If I be so disgracious in your sight, let me march on and offend not your grace. You speak too bitterly.
Hear me a word, for I shall never speak to thee again.
So.
Therefore take with thee my most grievous curse. Bloody thou art, bloody will be thy end. Shame serves thy life and doth thy death attend.
Though far more cause, yet much less spirit to curse abides in me, I say amen to all.
Stay, madam. I must speak a word to you.
I have no more sons of the royal blood for thee to slaughter. For my daughters, Richard, they shall be praying nuns, not weeping queens, and therefore level not to hit their lives.
You have a daughter, called Elizabeth, virtuous and fair, royal and gracious.
And must she die for this? Oh, let her live, so she may live unscarred of bleeding slaughter. I will confess she was not Edward's daughter.
Wrong not her birth, she is a royal princess.
Well, to save her life, I'll say she is not so.
Her life is safest only in her birth.
And only in that safety died her brothers.
Madam, so thrive I in my enterprise and dangerous success of bloody wars, as I intend more good to you and yours than ever you or yours were by me wronged.
Tell me what state, what dignity, what honor canst thou demise to any child of mine?
Even all I have. Aye, and myself and all. Then know that from my soul I love thy daughter, and do intend to make her Queen of England.
Well then, who dost thou mean shall be her king?
Even thee that makes her his queen, who should be else?
What, thou?
Even so, how you think of it?
Well, how canst thou woo her?
That I would learn from you.
Send to her by the man that slew her brothers a pair of bleeding hearts. Thereon engrave Edward and York, then haply she will weep. Therefore, present to her as sometime Margaret did to thy father, steeped in Rutland's blood, a handkerchief, which say to her did drain the purple sap from her sweet brother's body, and bid her wipe her weeping eyes withal. If this inducement move her not to love, send her a letter of thy noble deeds. Tell her thou madest away her uncle Clarence, her uncle Rivers, aye, and for her sake madest quick conveyance with her good Aunt Anne.
You mock me, madam. This is not the way to win your daughter.
There is no other way.
Look, what is done cannot now be amended. Men shall deal unadvisedly sometimes. If I did take the kingdom from your sons to make amends, I'll give it to your daughter. If I have killed the issue of your womb to quicken your increase, I will beget mine issue of your blood upon your daughter. Go then, my mother, to thy daughter go. Put in her tender heart the aspiring flame of golden sovereignty. Acquaint the princess with the sweet, silent hours of marriage joys. When this arm of mine hath chastised the petty rebel, dull-brained Buckingham, bound with triumphant garlands will I come and lead thy daughter to a conqueror's bed.
What were I best to say? Her father's brother would be her lord? Or shall I say her uncle? Or he that slew her brothers and her uncles? Under what title shall I woo for thee?
Say, I will love her everlastingly.
But how long shall that title ever last?
Sweetly in force and to her fair life's end.
But how long fairly shall her sweet life last?
Well, as long as heaven and nature lengthens it.
As long as hell and Richard likes of it.
I swear.
By nothing, for this is no oath. If something thou wouldst swear to be believed, swear then by something that thou hast not wronged.
Then by myself.
Oh, thyself misusest.
Now by the world.
'Tis full of thy foul wrongs.
Why then by God?
God's wrong is most of all. What canst thou swear by now?
By the time to come.
That thou hast wronged in the time o'erpast. The children live whose fathers thou hast slaughtered. The parents live whose children thou hast butchered. Swear not by time to come, for that thou hast misused ere used, by times ill-used o'erpast.
Heaven and fortune bar me happy hours. Be opposite all planets of good luck to my proceeding, if with dear heart's love I tender not thy beauteous, princely daughter. In her consists my happiness and thine. Without her follows to myself and thee. Herself, the land, and many a Christian soul, death, desolation, ruin, and decay. It cannot be avoided but by this. It will not be avoided but by this. Therefore, dear mother, I must call you so, be the attorney of my love to her. Plead what I will be, not what I have been, not my deserts, but what I will deserve.
Shall I be tempted by the devil thus?
Aye, the devil tempt thee good.
Yet thou didst kill my children.
But in your daughter's womb I bury them.
Shall I go win my daughter to thy will?
And be a happy mother by the deed.
I go. Write to me very shortly, and you shall understand from me her mind.
Bear her my true love's kiss, and so farewell. Relenting fool and shallow changing woman. Well, how now? What news?
My gracious sovereign, on the western coast rideth the puissant navy. To our shores throng many doubtful, hollow-hearted friends, unarmed and unresolved to beat them back. 'Tis thought that Richmond is their admiral, and there they hole, expecting but the aid of Buckingham to welcome them ashore.
Some light-foot friend posts to the Duke of Norfolk. Ratcliffe, thyself or Catesby, where is he?
Here, my lord.
Catesby, fly to the Duke. Post thou, Ratcliffe, to Salisbury, when thou comest thither. Dull, mindful villain, why stayest thou here and goest not to the Duke?
First, mighty liege, tell me your highness's pleasure. What from your grace I shall deliver to him?
Oh, true good Catesby. Bid him levy straight the greatest strength and power he can make, and meet me suddenly at Salisbury.
I go.
What, may it please you, shall I do at Salisbury?
Why, what wouldst thou do there before I go?
Your highness told me I should post before.
Now my mind has changed. Stanley, what news with you?
Richmond is on the seas.
Well, there let him sink, and be the seas on him, white-livered runagate. What doth he there?
Stirred up by Dorset, Buckingham, and Ely, he makes for England to claim the crown.
Is the chair empty? Is the sword unswayed? Is the king dead? Is the empire unpossessed? Thou wilt revolt and fly to him, I swear.
You have no cause to hold my friendship doubtful. I never was, nor ever will be false.
Go then, and muster men, but leave behind your son, George Stanley. Look your heart be firm, or else his head's assurance is but frail.
So deal with him as I prove true to you.
My gracious sovereign, now in Devonshire, Sir Edward Courtney and the haughty prelate Bishop of Exeter, his elder brother, with many more confederates, are in arms.
In Kent, my liege, the Guilfords are in arms, and every hour more competitors flock to the rebels, and still their power grows strong.
My lord, the army of great Buckingham!
Out on you, owls! Nothing but songs of death. There, take thou that, till I bring better news.
The news I have to tell your majesty is that by sudden floods and fall of waters, Buckingham's army is dispersed and scattered, and he himself wandered away alone. No one knows whither.
Well, I cry thee mercy. There is my purse to cure that blow of thine.
My liege, the Duke of Buckingham is taken. That is the best news. That the Earl of Richmond is with a mighty power landed in Milford is colder tidings, yet they must be told.
Now wait, toward Salisbury. While we reason here, a royal battle might be won and lost. Someone take order of Buckingham be brought to Salisbury. The rest march on with me.
Act 5, Scene 1. Salisbury, an open place. Enter Brakenbury with Buckingham, led to execution.
Will not King Richard let me speak with him?
No, my good lord, therefore be patient.
This is All Souls' Day, fellow, is it not?
It is.
Why then, All Souls' Day is my body's doomsday. This is the day that in King Edward's time I wished might fall on me, when I was found false to his children or his wife's allies. This is the day wherein I wish to fall by the false faith of him who I trusted most. Thus Margaret's curse falls heavy on my neck, when he, quoth she, shall split thy heart with sorrow. Remember, Margaret was a prophetess. Come, sirs, convey me to the block of shame. Wrong hath but wrong, and blame the due of blame.
Scene 2, the camp near Tamworth. Enter Richmond and his followers.
Fellows in arms, and my most loving friends, bruised underneath the yoke of tyranny, thus far into the bowels of the land have we marched on without impediment. And here receive we from our father Stanley lines of fair comfort and encouragement. He says the Queen hath heartily consented I should espouse Elizabeth, her daughter. In God's name, cheerly on, courageous friends, to reap the harvest of perpetual peace by this one bloody trial of sharp war.
Every man's conscience is 1,000 men to fight against this guilty homicide.
I doubt not that his friends will turn to us.
He hath no friends, but who are friends for fear, which is his dearest need will shrink from him.
All for our vantage. Then in God's name, march. True hope is swift and flies with swallows' wings. Kings it makes gods, and meaner creatures kings.
Scene 3, Bosworth Field. Enter King Richard III in arms with Ratcliffe and Catesby.
Up with my tent. Here, I will lie tonight. But where tomorrow? Well, all's one for that. Who hath described the number of the traitors?
6,000 or 7,000 is their utmost power.
Our battalia trebles that account. Besides, king's name is a tower of strength, which they upon the adverse faction want. Let's lack no discipline, make no delay. Lords, tomorrow is a busy day.
Where is Lord Stanley quartered, do you know?
His regiment lies half a mile at least, south from the mighty power of the king.
If without peril it be possible, Dorset, make some good means to speak with him, and give him from me this most needful note.
Upon my life, my lord, I'll undertake it, and so God give you quiet rest tonight.
What is it o'clock?
It's supper time, my lord. It's 9 o'clock.
I will not sup tonight. Give me some ink and paper. What is my armor laid into my tent?
It is, my liege, and all things are in readiness.
Catesby.
My lord?
Send out a pursuivant at arms to Stanley's regiment. Bid him bring his power before sun rising, lest his son George fall into the blind cave of eternal night. Ratcliffe.
My lord.
Is ink and paper ready?
It is, my lord.
Bid my guard watch. Leave me, Ratcliffe. About the mid of night, come to my tent and help to arm me. Leave me, I say.
O thou, whose captain I account myself, look on my forces with a gracious eye, that they may crush down with a heavy fall the usurping helmets of our adversaries. To thee I do commend my watchful soul, ere I let fall the windows of mine eyes. Sleeping and waking, oh, defend me still.
Let me sit heavy on thy soul tomorrow. Poor Clarence, by thy guile betrayed to death. Tomorrow in the battle, think on me, and fall thy edgeless sword. Despair and die. Thou offspring of the house of Lancaster, the wronged heirs of York do pray for thee. Good angels guard thy battle. Live and flourish.
Let thy sit heavy on thy soul tomorrow, rivers that died at Pomfret, despair and die.
Think upon Grae and let thy soul despair.
Awake and think our wrongs in Richard's bosom will conquer him.
Awake and win the day.
Think on Lord Hastings, despair and die. Arm, fight, and conquer for fair England's sake.
Dream on thy cousins smothered in the tower. Thy nephew's souls bid thee despair and die. Sleep, Richmond, sleep and peace, and wake and joy. Edward's unhappy sons do bid thee flourish.
Richard, thy wife, that wretched Anne, thy wife, now fills thy sleep with perturbations. Tomorrow in the battle, think on me and fall thy edgeless sword, despair and die. Thou quiet soul, sleep. Thou a quiet sleep. Thy adversary's wife doth pray for thee.
Was I that helped Richard to the crown. The last was I that felt thy tyranny. Oh, in the battle, think on Buckingham and die in terror of thy guiltiness. God and good angels fight on Richmond's side, and Richard fall in height of all his pride.
Give me another horse. Bind up my wounds. Have mercy. Just, oh, soft, I did but dream. Oh, coward conscience. How does that afflict me? What do I fear, myself? None else by. Richard loves Richard. That is, I am I. Is there a murderer here? No. Well, yes, I am. Then fly. What, for myself? What great reason why? Dost thou revenge? What, myself upon myself? Alack, I love myself. Wherefore? For any good that I myself have done unto myself? Alas, I rather hate myself for hateful deeds committed by myself. I am a villain. Yet I lie. I am not. Fool. Myself speak well. Fool, do not flatter. My conscience hath 1,000 several tongues. I shall despair. There is no creature that loves me, and if I die, no fool will, so souls pity me.
My lord.
Sounds! Who's there?
Ratcliffe, my lord, 'tis I. The early village cock hath twice done salutation to the morn. Your friends are up and buckled on their armor.
Oh, Ratcliffe, I have dreamed a fearful dream. What thinkest thou? Will our friends prove all true?
No doubt, my lord.
Oh, Ratcliffe, I fear.
Nay.
I fear.
Nay, good my lord, be not afraid of shadows.
By the Apostle Paul, shadows tonight have struck more terror to the soul of Richard than can the substance of 10,000 soldiers armed in proof and led by shallow Richmond.
How have you slept, my lord?
Oh, the sweetest sleep and fairest boding dreams that ever entered in a drowsy head. How far into the morning is it?
Upon the stroke of 4.
Why, then 'tis time to arm and give direction. More than I have said, loving countrymen, the leisure enforcement of the time forbids to dwell upon. Yet remember this, God and our good cause fight upon our side. The prayers of holy saints and wronged souls, like high-reared bulwarks, stand before our faces. Richard except, those whom we fight against had rather have us win than him they follow. For what is he they follow? Truly, gentlemen, one that hath ever been God's enemy. Then, if you fight against God's enemy, God will in justice ward you as his soldiers. If you do sweat to put a tyrant down, you sleep in peace, the tyrant being slain. If you do fight in safeguard of your wives shall welcome home the conquerors. If you do free your children from the sword, your children's children quitted in your age, then in the name of God and all these rights, advance your standards, draw your willing swords. For me, the ransom of my bold attempt shall be this cold corpse upon the earth's cold face. But if I thrive, the gain of my attempt, the least of you shall share his part thereof. Sound drums and trumpets boldly and cheerfully. God and St. George, Richmond and victory!
Who saw the sun today?
Not I, my lord.
The sun will not be seen today. Sky doth frown and lower upon our army. Not shining today. Why, what is that to me more than to Richmond? For the self-same heaven that frowns on me looks sadly upon him. Call up Lord Stanley. Bid him bring his power. Remember whom you are cope withal, the scum of Britons and base lackey peasants, whom their overcloyed country vomits forth to desperate ventures and assured destruction. Shall these enjoy our lands, lie with our wives, ravish our daughters? Ha ha ha! Hark! I hear the drum. Go, gentlemen, every man into his charge. Let not our babbling dreams affright our souls. Conscience is but a word that cowards use. March on, join bravely. Let us to it pell-mell. If not to heaven, then hand in hand to hell.
Scene 4, another part of the field. Alarum, excursions, enter King Richard.
A horse! A horse! My kingdom for a horse!
Enter Richmond, they fight. King Richard III is slain. Retreat and flourish. Richard, Stanley enters bearing the crown with divers other lords.
God in your arms be praised, victorious friends, the day is ours. The bloody dog is dead.
Courageous Richmond, well hast thou acquit thee. Lo, here this long usurped royalty from the dead temples of this bloody wretch have I plucked off to grace thy brows withal. Wear it, enjoy it, and make much of it.
Great God of heaven, say amen to all. We will unite the white rose and the red. Oh, now let Richmond and Elizabeth, the true succeeders of each royal house, by God's fair ordinance conjoin together. Now civil wounds are stopped. Peace lives again. That she may long live here. God say amen.
That is our end tonight. Thank you all so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed. Everyone can pop their cameras back on. Do a little wave goodbye. Thank you all so much for being with us tonight. And we will hope to see you all next month for our third installment. Next month, we will be doing Macbeth. So join us for some spooky Halloween Macbeth. See you all next week or next month.